Well, we're not far off arriving in Heilbronn. I just thought I'd mention one thing as we drive through now what is now Baden-Württemberg. This is the kind of area or the territory very close to. I'm not sure if it's on the left of the road or the right of the road, but I think it's probably more in that direction because that's a more kind of defendable territory with the upland there that can look down on the plain. But the Romans built fortifications between the Danube, being one easy defendable river border on their empire, and the Rhine, which was another. And from a certain point where it was the closest, from the Danube to the Rhine, they built a wall called limes, which is kind of Latin for wall, and it was over this line of fortifications that the Roman Empire had its many skirmishes and battles with the likes of Arminius or Hermann. Here we are, there's Limes UNESCO Welterbe, or a world inheritance, because it's something which the Roman Empire did to protect itself against the barbarians, the Germanic tribes from outside the empire that didn't have the same values as the empire, that weren't sharers in the Roman style of civilization at that time. Obviously, nowadays the whole of Germany and all of the Germanic-speaking world is in the inheritance of the whole of the Roman Empire, but clearly not. They, at the time of the Limes, there was fighting going on between various tribes of Germans and the empire. So the Germans, they were not. In the main, they were not Christians. Some of them were some, like the Goths, for example, became Christian, became Arian at any rate. They were not really Christians, but they had a biblical version. They had a version of a biblical understanding of their own, and so they were a little bit like Jehovah's Witnesses. They had an Arian belief. They had a heretical belief about the origins of Jesus Christ as a created being, not as an uncreated being as Christians believe. But they came under the influence of like the biblical ideas that were in common currency in the Roman Empire, and some of the Germanic tribes here did as well. In the main, though, it wasn't until things like the monastery at Fulda and the works in the 6th and the 7th centuries of monks going out and Christianizing the Germanic tribes that the Germans became in the main Christianized. So prior to that, they'd had a sort of Nordic religion based on pantheism, like the different, like the Norse gods that we know about, that were only actually stripped of their adherents some centuries after the Germanic tribes in mainland Germany were. So the Limes is, like I say, around this area. I don't think you're going to see anything from the car, but it's just nice to be aware that you're driving roughly around the same area as the old border of the Roman Empire and what wasn't the Roman Empire. Now I suppose that border you could place in various other kinds of places. Maybe you would, for example, put that border up the eastern side of Poland. I don't know. That might be one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it might be between China and Russia. Depends on where you place Russia, really, because it's difficult to know which empire, Han or Roman, to place Russia in. But depending on maybe that's one of these places where its destiny is not really finally decided, but certainly right the way up to the boundary of the European Union, that's all. You can trace a philosophical line from Rome to the European Union of today, and the boundary of that goes up, the east side of Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, up there, and then Finland, of course. History, it's everywhere you look around. It's more interesting to show you the bits which are not on the motorway, so Now that we just got into Heilbronn, just past the yellow sign saying that we're in Heilbronn, I decided that I'd film a little bit here. The motorways themselves are probably, you know, pretty much of a muchness. These streets as well are not exactly unusual. I mean, they could be in an awful lot of different German cities, but at least it gives you an idea of what Germany's like, I suppose, and what the sort of way that a street like this leading into a town, the sorts of things it's going to have on it. Things like a Hotel Garni, whatever that. I still can't work out what a garnished hotel is actually supposed to mean. What actually constitutes one. The sort of garnishings that they usually have in order to justify a bit more money don't usually seem to be all of that impressive. Interesting. So that's the nice car showroom, Minis. I saw some Minis. Minis seem to be quite popular among the Germans. And I saw a very nice coloured one. It's not this left, but it's coming up. So this is now getting a bit more downtowny by the looks of things. Some of those higher buildings looks like Kaufhäuser, looks like sorts of things you get in a centre. I don't think Heilbronn's a massively large city. HN is the registration plate, but then you wouldn't expect to be able to get a single letter H, because even Hamburg can't have H. H is Hanover, and Hamburg is HH because it's Hansestadt Hamburg. That's what they call it. And that's its full name. So I think I'm. Bildungscampus.
Po 100 metrech pokračujte rovně.
Oh, that means I have to stop at the red light, I think. It's interesting that the red, white and blue, which is a different way around to the way the French one would be, on that Rapunzel tower over there. And it really is a Rapunzel looking tower, because it's not the sort of thing that, like a water tower would be. It's got no room for the water really, and it just looks like a typical Rapunzel tower, just built there as a folly. Maybe it's going to be part of a restaurant, I don't know. What's the idea behind that?